welcome to another RSR. Today we're reviewing Qatar 0, Ecuador 2, 2-0 Ecuador in World Cup 2022 Group A, the opening match. Ecuador cruises to victory. Qatar got some help from the refs, but it didn't really matter in the end. And they don't show out at all. Qatar looked like a freaking worn-out tire, a beat-up, worn-out tire on the bottom of an SUV. Did not look good at all. Goals were scored as follows. In the 3rd minute, Enter Valencia scores. Ball crossed in. Saad Al-Sheeb comes out of his goal. It becomes a freaking clown show. Assist with a scorpion kick over the top to Enter Valencia. He puts the ball into the net, taps it in, makes it 1-0. But it goes to VAR. It's a genjutsu because it's offside. And because it's offside, Qatar, the referees help Qatar. It's back to 0-0. It's called off. They take away the goal. But in the 16th minute, Enter Valencia gets taken out by Saad Al-Sheeb. Saad Al-Sheeb slides out, takes out his legs, can't get the ball at all. It's a penalty. So Enter Valencia goes up to take it, and he gets his. He takes the shot, basically rolls the penalty into the net. Saad Al-Sheeb goes the other way. Enter Valencia rolls it in. Easy as you like. Maybe the softest penalty I've ever seen when I talk about the penalty shot, the penalty kick itself. But it's 0-1, 1-0, 1-0 Ecuador. And then in the 31st minute, Enter Valencia, a great cross from Preciado over the top. An amazing cross. And then Estrada gets up there. He freaking flies, but that allows Enter Valencia to get the header without Saad Al-Sheeb even really realizing it. Puts it near post to him. Puts it near post. Great header to score a goal. That makes it 2-0. 2-0 Ecuador. And that's the way we go into halftime. And then the game stops being crazy. The first half was a crazy, crazy half. Even though Ecuador dominated it, it was a crazy half because the match just definitely had that vibe of being a barn burner for opening World Cup. But in the second half, it was boring. Qatar was consigned to their own fate. Ecuador didn't really add on to it. They were like, we're good with this. We'll take the win if they're going to hand it to us. And it ended 2-0. It ended 2-0. Not much more to say about that. Full-time stats are as follows. 5 shots to 6. 0 shots on goal to 3. 47% possession to 53% possession. 434 passes to 486. 81% pass accuracy to 85. 15 fouls to 15. 3 offside to 4. 4 yellow cards to 2. 0 red cards to 0. And 1 corner to 3. Again, Ecuador was the way better team. They cruised to victory. They were dominant. They were stronger. They were more in tune with each other. They were together. They played as a team. The way Ecuador played, they didn't really basically even stay in their own third, their own defensive third. They were basically at halfway pretty much the whole time. They were pretty much at halfway the whole time. They didn't really have to play defense. Defensively, they had to do some things. The goalkeeper had his moments to have to stop shots and do goal kicks and defend set pieces. But other than that, Ecuador, and same thing with the defense, but the thing about Ecuador is they basically kept possession, played forward, and basically eliminated that defensive final third for Qatar. And Qatar basically said, yeah, we'll just let you do that. Because at the start of the game, yeah, they went over the top. That was one of their biggest chances. They went over the top. They could have easily scored to right off the bat to start the World Cup, which would have been crazy, which it was a crazy half anyway. But what they did was they go there and say, all right. They try to do that. We're not going to let them do it again because I think they kind of gave away their game plan early. And Ecuador's just like, no, we'll keep you away from our defensive final third. We're just going to keep the ball, let our outside backs pass the ball, switch the play, that type of stuff, which is very interesting. Ecuador basically neutralized Qatar as soon as they went over the top. They neutralized them. There was another chance Qatar had around the middle of the first half. Didn't really do anything with that. Almoz Ali had their best chance at the end of the first half, and that was a hat flick. Because that man had a header. Great cross. Had a header. Puts it past when he could have easily just nodded it down. And it would have went in the net. He nods it to the side, and it rolls past the post. And he was on the near post. He was on the near post. He nods it, and it goes past the far post. That's a hat flick. That's horrible. Horrible, horrible, terrible. If you want to talk like Charles Barkley, that was terrible. Almoz Ali puts it past. Like that was absolutely horrible. That was trash. And it was horrible football. I don't know what the hell he was trying to do. You could have just nodded it down. Boom. That's a goal. You get one back. It's 2-1 right before the half. And I think that really demoralized Qatar in the second half. They're like, if he can't score that, we're screwed. They were demoralized. I think missing that was a demoralization. Because that's one of the best chances you could ever have, and you scuff it, that's demoralizing. And Qatar was demoralized because the second half was boring. The second half was legitimately boring. Ecuador held possession. They didn't really do much. They didn't feel the need to do too much. Qatar, when they had possession, they're like, oh, we'll play with it, but we're not going forward. They didn't want to go forward. They had like one chance where it got skied over the bar by Muntari in the second half. Point is, they didn't care. They were done. They quit. When they were down 2-0 at the half, even though 2-0 is the most dangerous scoreline in all of football, the most unsafe scoreline in all of football, they didn't get the memo. They didn't care. They quit. They capitulated. As soon as Almoz Ali missed that shot, that header at the end of the first half, and they came back out, they're like, we ain't got nothing. We're done. They quit. They gave up. They sat back and said, we'll just play with the ball when we get it. We won't give it back, but they'll take it back. The fact that they didn't get scored on even more, that this was just 2-0, was absolutely a shock. Qatar looked like crap. And besides, I expected that to be the case. This is the first time a host nation at the World Cup loses the opening game. Just for the record, Qatar was the first host nation to lose in their opening game. And it's not going to get better from here. They got to play Netherlands and Senegal, and those are two way better teams. The referees might help to make the numbers look a bit better, but arguably their goal differential should be minus 15 at the end of the group. I don't see how they do any better against the next two teams they have to play, Senegal and Netherlands. I don't. Netherlands are going to rip them apart. Total football, Aaron Winter is going to have a freaking party watching that. He loves total football. Aaron Winter, former TFC manager. That man is going to have a party when he watches Netherlands rip Qatar to shreds. And when I'm watching that, I'll be thinking of him, because I know he's going to love what he sees. And I'm going to be like, so that's what he wanted TFC to do back in 2012. Okay. Something like that, you know what I'm saying? Point is, Netherlands will rip Qatar apart. And Senegal, I don't know if they'll rip Qatar apart, but they'll definitely comfortably win, even without Sadio Mane. Qatar is a joke. And by the way, they'll probably never make another World Cup, even with a 48-team World Cup. If they make 2026, I'll be shocked. I don't see them making 2026. No. I don't see it. I don't see it. The best Qatar ever was the Asian Cup and the CONCACAF Gold Cup. They couldn't even make the final of the Arab Cup last winter, in the dress rehearsal for the World Cup. That should have rang alarm bells in the first place. Canada kicking your ass in September should have rang alarm bells. At least it did for me, but I'm not even a Qatari fan. Ecuador is a good team. They're not great. They're not bad. They're good. And you made them look like they were world class. And it was only 2-0. Should have been 3. Frankly, it should have been 5 or 6. It should have been an absolute bloodletting. It was not. And frankly, I bet Qatar fans wish it was a bloodletting. Because, Jesus, sitting there for frickin' 2 hours and basically being like, when's the next goal? When is this going to get worse? And it never does. You're just sitting there in a state of stasis. It's bad. Point is, Qatar sucks. They might be the worst host nation ever by the end of this. I think they will be, but that's actually a pretty hard bar to clear. Well, not a hard bar to clear. That's a pretty easy bar to clear, but let's just remember, Russia made the quarters the last World Cup. Brazil made the semis in 2014. South Africa wasn't too bad. South Africa wasn't too bad. South Africa wasn't too bad. And then Germany did pretty well in 2006. Point is, home nations do pretty well. Qatar, not so much. That's what happens when you corrupt your way to a World Cup, I guess. Oof, madon. Crazy game, first half. Second half, boring as all hell, but I'm sure we're going to have a good World Cup. Man of the match for me, Enter Valencia. 2 goals, should have been a hat trick. Frankly, damn good performance. Carried Ecuador to a win. Damn good win for Ecuador. Enter Valencia, the reason. Man of the match for me. And maybe he should be in MLS. I think he should be good in MLS. He should come back to CONCACAF, frankly. With that being said, if you liked this video, like and share, subscribe. You know what it is. Tell your friends. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell notification once subscribed. Send super chats on the live streams. Comment on this video. Put this in playlists. Share with friends and family. All that great stuff. I will see you tomorrow for a live watch-along of Senegal versus Netherlands. A watch-along of United States versus Wales, and a review of USA versus Wales. So 2 lives, 1 review for 2 matches. And I'll see you then. Should be a great day 2 of the World Cup on Monday. Definitely no Monday blues there. I'll see you then. I'm Ryan and I'm out. Peace. Good day 1. Let's keep on going.